A lot of people think that Team USA is going to win gold in this upcoming Olympics. Some people especially Americans, are very arrogant because America historically has dominated the sport of basketball at the Olympics. Typically, America's the best at basketball. Most of your best basketball players in history have been American. Guys like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Magic Johnson, so on and so forth. Historically, majority of the best basketball players are from the United States. And in the Olympics, for the most part, United States in basketball have won the gold medal, except in 2004. In 2004, the USA basketball team won bronze, and that was kind of crazy. I remember that. USA in the 2004 Olympics, they lost against Puerto Rico. I remember that one. I didn't watch it, but I remember hearing it on the news. Basketball is beginning to be international. We're beginning to see, even in the NBA, international foreigners dominate the NBA. You're seeing more foreigner players become superstars nowadays in the NBA. Dudes like Giannis, Nikola Jokic, and Luka Doncic. Those are just a few players who are foreigners who are dominating the NBA right now. Even we're beginning to see it back in the late 90s, early 2000s, dudes from Europe like Dirk Nowitzki. Basketball is becoming worldwide. Basketball is now popular throughout the whole world, and people throughout the whole world are now playing basketball at a high level. You even seen it in the last Olympics. In the last Olympics, 2020 Olympics, the USA got beat by Nigeria in basketball. It was the Olympic exhibition friendlies before the actual Olympics started. USA basketball played an exhibition match against Nigeria, and Nigeria beat them. And that was something historic. You'll never imagine an African team beating the United States in basketball. The United States is supposed to be this huge basketball giant, the best in the world, and they got beat by an African nation. African nations are not known for being good at the game of basketball. They're just not. And Nigeria beat USA in an exhibition match in preparation for the Olympics a few years ago. So that goes to show you that teams all around the world are improving in the game of basketball. The days are over of just America being this basketball giant and no one else is good at basketball besides the United States. No, those days are over. And we saw it again a few days ago when the United States, they played an exhibition match against South Sudan. And there were periods in that game that South Sudan were outscoring the United States by over 20 points. But the United States caught up at the end of the game thanks to LeBron James and some other USA players. And USA ended up beating South Sudan by 1 point, only 1 point. And that's a shocker to many. Like, oh my gosh, South Sudan is a small country that only came into existence in 2011. How did the USA Giants of basketball almost got beat by South Sudan? Oh, that's impossible. People are all in shock. I'm not really surprised because basketball is an international sport now. They have leagues outside the NBA all across the world. They have basketball leagues in Europe, basketball leagues in Asia, basketball leagues in Africa. Teams across the world, players across the world are getting better. Basketball is not only in the United States, it's an international game now. So it was not a surprise to me that South Sudan almost beat the United States in that exhibition match the other day, a few days ago. And actually, South Sudan, really, if we're being honest, South Sudan really got robbed because the last 8 seconds, South Sudan was going up for that rebound, and Anthony Edwards fouled the Sudanese player getting the rebound, and Sudan was supposed to go to the line to get 2 free throw shots, which would have put South Sudan in the lead, and they would have beaten the United States with only a few seconds left in the game. So Sudan really got robbed. Sudan was supposed to win that game if we're being technical with the foul rules. And, LeBron James, he scored in that last play, which put the United States up 1 point. But that play that LeBron James drove to the hole and got that layup in the last play that put USA up, LeBron James actually traveled. LeBron James going in for that layup that put USA up, LeBron James took about 3 or 4 steps without dribbling. That was actually a travel. So by technical rules, if we're going by technical rules, Sudan was supposed to win. Because LeBron James' layup at the end of the game, that was a travel. Then Sudan got a rebound the last 8 seconds, and Anthony Edwards fouled the guy, obviously. And Sudan was supposed to go to the line to get free throws, which would have put Sudan in the lead with like 2 seconds left in the game. So that Sudan losing to the United States only by 1 point. Only by 1 point. That shows you that this USA team is beatable. This USA team is beatable. A lot of people think, hey, man, Team USA, they're going to automatically get gold. They're going to have a cakewalk. No, man. This Olympics is not going to be a cakewalk for USA basketball. And I would not be surprised if USA basketball does not win this gold medal. I would not be surprised. And you have to understand, nowadays, basketball is different. American basketball in the NBA is different. Back in the 80s and 90s, even in the early 2000s, the NBA, American basketball, used to be more physical. Now, basketball nowadays, you touch someone one time in the NBA, a defender would touch a player on the wrist, and they'll call a foul on it nowadays in the NBA. American basketball is soft. Nowadays, in this new era NBA, someone could just flop and get a whistle called on for a foul. You can't do that in international play. International play is more physical. American basketball is not physical. So these soft American players, they're not used to playing that real physical brand of basketball. And that's why Sudan was able to give USA basketball a hard time on that court because a lot of these USA players are soft. The Sudanese team, they're very physical. They use their young athleticism to their advantage against USA. And that Sudanese team, the South Sudan team, played with a large amount of tenacity. They were not giving up at all. And those are some of the intangible qualities you need at the international level of play. Yes, on paper, on paper, the USA basketball team has the most talented and skilled individual players. You cannot deny that. Team USA has LeBron James, the leading scorer in the NBA of all time, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, the best shooter, the best three-point shooter of all time, Stephen Curry. And they have Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Devin Booker. These are some big superstar names of NBA players, American players who are extremely talented. You cannot deny the individual talent that Team USA has, but that doesn't always mean they're going to win because basketball, especially at the international level, basketball is a team sport. In international basketball, you have to play as a unit. Your whole team as a whole in international basketball, especially, has to have a high level of chemistry. You can have the best individual players of all time, but if you guys don't play, if that team does not play with chemistry as a full team, then it's going to be a hard time for them to win games. These other countries, like France, Serbia, Australia, even Sudan, South Sudan, their players have a chemistry. They play as a unit. They might not have the best superstar individual players, and they don't rely off these other countries that I just named. They don't rely off of the best individual players. That forces them to play as a team, pass the ball around, know each other's spot on the court, and play as a unit and have chemistry. And that will work to their advantage playing against the United States in this World Cup. In this Olympics. This, like it or not, this USA team does have some flaws. This USA team definitely has some flaws. Age is one of the flaws on this USA team. A lot of the superstar players on this USA team are old. LeBron James is almost 40 years old. LeBron James is 39 years old. The biggest key players on this USA team are older. LeBron James is 40 years old. Kevin Durant is 35 years old. Stephen Curry is 36 years old. Jrue Holiday is 34 years old. The best defender on this team is Jrue Holiday, and he's 34 years old. Man, and age is very important in any sport because as you get older, as you get in the mid to late 30s, you begin to slow down, you begin to lose athleticism. So these younger people, these younger players from these other countries are going to go up against the United States, and they're going to be running past these old defenders that the United States has on their team. That's what we saw with Sudan. And a lot of these players on the USA team are not physical. They're not used to playing a physical brand of basketball. Devin Booker, he's soft. He's not a physical player. Let's keep it real. Anthony Davis, one of our big men in USA team, he's soft. He gets injured. He's injury prone and he's soft. Anthony Davis is soft. And Bam Adebayo, he's a good player, but Bam, he's an offensive liability. He can score every now and then, but the Bam Adebayo, he's not shooting threes. He's not known to be the best offensive player. Bam Adebayo, he's an offensive liability. Devin Booker, he's soft. Stephen Curry, he's old. Anthony Davis, he's soft. Kevin Durant is old. Anthony Edwards, no really flaw against Anthony Edwards in this team. Joel Embiid, he's slow, he runs slow, and he's a defensive liability. Tyrese Halliburton, he's a non-factor. Jrue Holiday is an offensive liability. Jrue Holiday doesn't offer anything offensively to this USA team. LeBron James is 40 years old, can't buy to keep up with putting up a high performance like he did against Sudan, game after game after game. Jason Tatum, no flaw against him. Derek White, he's an offensive liability. Most of these players, I just went through this whole USA roster. Most of these players are either an offensive liability or a defensive liability, or they're soft and not physical, or they're just old. These are some of the factors that are going to work against Team USA in this Olympics. And I will not be surprised if Team USA would not win gold. This Team USA team has some flaws. They're old. They're not physical players. NBA branded basketball is not physical. And there's a lot of defensive and offensive liabilities on this team. And as you saw against South Sudan, this USA team is beatable. And other teams across the world, everyone saw that South Sudan performance against the United States, and that gave all these other teams confidence to play at a high level against the United States in this against USA basketball in this Olympics. So, man, teams saw that in that South Sudan game that to play well against the United States, to give the United States a hard time in basketball, all you have to do is get physical with the United States and use your athleticism as your advantage against the United States, and you'll give USA a hard time. I will not be surprised if USA does not win gold. I will not. USA's first, and you got to understand, these teams, these international teams, they're going to be playing their A game against the United States because the United States, they're supposed to be the best of the best. So these other teams across the world, they want to have the honor of beating the best team in the world, the best basketball team in the world, the United States. So they're going to be putting their best performance up against USA. And I would not be surprised. What USA's first game is against Serbia. Serbia has Nikola Jokic, one of the best centers in the world. And in Serbia, they can shoot from the outside. They can pass the ball. They play as a unit. I would not be surprised if Serbia beats the United States. And the United States, they play against South Sudan again. South Sudan just put up a great performance against USA and only lost against by 1 point. So I would not be surprised if South Sudan can beat USA in the Olympics. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, you guys. Peace.